Jam 'em.
Biloxi blues, it happens every night.
Every old night.
And I ain't never met a riverboat dealer that could ever be a friend of mine.
Nope. I have
Summer
not.
heat never treats me kind, it leaves trouble on my mind. So I'm bidding farewell, putting in my notice, and I'll see you at another time. This highway does not know my name, and I don't
Nope.
care. No, I
Not even kind of.
don't care. Heading my way for another place, and I got 3 good tires and a
Right to the
spare.
hook right here.
Just a white line gypsy getting out of Mississippi with just enough gas to get there.
Low budget live, but not the actually live version. Sorry. I'm all over the place. For the norm, hope you're doing well out there, you bunch of low-lifers. This is the live podcast for Monday, October the 14th, and made a little video earlier today telling you that I was going to be running behind, that there was not a low-budget live, not so live, and here we are with a low-budget live with a great guest I'm looking forward to catching up with here in just a few minutes. We got Trey Swindle in the comments telling me he's just here for the open schedule announcement. 67,000 folks hanging with us so far. We got Miss K telling us that she's just here for Biloxi Blues. And you know what, Miss K, I wrote it, but I agree. That's a good song. You should just be here for that, Miss K. Did a podcast, an Alabama Bass Trail podcast with Miss K earlier today because this is ABT Championship Week. Noah Dickinson, ABT, just photographer extraordinaire, saying, bring your pickle and balls to Lay Lake. So, no, I didn't get a new camera. If it looks like it's glitchy, I don't know what's going on. It's something with the lighting. Hopefully when the guest comes on, normally it'll go away. I've seen it do that a couple times, but I don't know. It's kind of tripping me out because I'm looking right into it on the monitor here, and it is flickering. No, I did not get a new camera. This is the same. Did you get a new camera or some new moisturizer? Listen. I wake up every day and look right in the mirror and just don't even know how I'm breathing. I look so dang dead. All right. So no, ain't no new camera, no new moisturizer at all. Maybe some different, maybe I got the lights on in here a little different today in the low budget live bar and grill. So appreciate y'all tuning in. Lots going on in the world. In my video earlier today that I put out on the old social medias, because you got to share everything on social media or it doesn't happen. Last week, if you tuned into the podcast with the amazing Miss K from the Alabama Bass Trail, that was a couple days late because I've been hanging with the kids. I talked about spending a lot of time with family, and that's important right now. A lot of things going on in life, but that my kids have got me on the pickleball bandwagon, and we played a little bit this spring, and I got into it. I really liked it. But then we kind of stopped playing for a little bit. But the last few nights we've been just getting after it. And as I sit here, you bunch of low lifers, as I sit here right now tonight, I am wearing a knee brace because my fat ass tweaked my knee playing pickleball. That happened, man. You know what? You got to be dumb. You got to be tough. And fortunately, I am tough. But pickleball will get you when you're overweight, you're out of shape, and you're old. It will get you. Fun fact: Harper Elizabeth, Triple Threat's daughter, Harper, she worked at a bone and joint clinic up in Columbia, Tennessee, about 30 minutes north where I'm from. And she said their number one reason that people would come in to get checked out, get some MRIs done, get some x-rays, pickleball. And I think it's just because a lot of older folks play maybe, but yeah, I love it. It's a lot of fun. It's a great exercise, but damn it, boy, it hurts. What's up, Luke? Got to go back and watch that episode with Miss K, Backwoods Bass Bandits. Yeah, you do, man. If you missed that one, Miss K brought it. She told the story of the inception of the Alabama Bass Trail, how it all happened, how she's been able to pull it off. And there's only one person that could pull it off like she has, that's for sure. And I'm not just sucking up because it's work week, that I got to be with Miss K like 4 days this week. I'm not just saying that. Okay. I really mean that. She pulls it off to perfection. So Miss K, if you didn't get to check that one out, go check it out. Go check it out indeed. Somebody said here, hang on. I saw in the comments, isn't there a big game this Saturday? No, there's not. I'm not talking about football. Trey Swindle's been giving me crap over football, even though Bama got beat by Vanderbilt. I know we got beat by Arkansas, but they lost to Vanderbilt. Okay, that's a new low for Bama. That's a new low. But Trey Swindle just been steady giving me a hard time about all that nonsense. That is for sure. And he was in the comments somewhere earlier. Rob Robleski, what's up, buddy? MPFL hammer right there. You excited for another epic MPFL event at Lake of the Ozarks? Man, I hope it's better than that Toyota series was, Rob. We got MPFL in a couple weeks coming up, event number 5, very, very soon. Trey Swindle, we a basketball team. You shut up. No, we're a baseball team in Tennessee. Obviously, we are. We won the Natty. I heard you and Mercer were going to play 4 rounds of Rock'em Sock'em Robots to finally figure out who the best podcast is. I don't know who's the best one, but I know who's done one the longest and who taught the other guy how to do one. I don't know. So Bama don't play the Vols Saturday. They do indeed play the VOLS, Vols. But we both look like hot garbage right now. I want to thank some sponsors real quick before our guest, a newly crowned Elite Series rookie, joins us. Really looking forward to this tonight. Getting on here with some Beau Browning, Stephen Browning's son. I've known Stephen for many years. One of my favorite podcasts that I've ever done. I was actually telling Miss K this, earlier today, is a sit down with Stephen Browning out in Hot Springs was one of my absolute favorite shows that I've ever got to do. Such a sharp guy, and I've got to know Beau over the years. Really, I've seen Beau grow up in this sport, so pretty dang cool to see him get an Elite Series berth this past weekend at Lake Martin. So want to say a quick thanks, fishtips.com. You can use code LBL10 there with the tips. I don't know if Trey Swindle posts on there, but if he does, you just need to ignore it. Like if Trey's got a tip on there, you don't want to go where Trey's been going. All right. Just don't do that. Fish Tips guides local anglers, pros, post tips. They post locations, different things where you can get on there and find out where to catch some fish. Just the tip, fishtips.com. LBL10 saves you coin on your first tip. Gill Fishing wants to give you a gift. You can use code LBL promo and you get a free gift with any purchase at gillfishing.com. ProGuideBatteries.com. ProGuideBatteries.com. LBL10 saves you there as well. Lets them know you're a low lifer on some of the best batteries in the game. Bait-works.com. WRX, bait-WRX. That's where you can get this. Look at this. Is this what people do now? Oh, look at that. It's a LOB jig. It's named after the low bitch himself, Trey Swindle, taking all the heat so far early in the show. Right there. That's the peanut butter and jelly color right there. Duncan-10 is going to save you at bait-works.com. And last but not least, hang that freaking banner. It's not even here tonight. Not even here tonight with the 119,000 low lifers. But that Express Boats X21 Pro, X21 Pro LE is what I'm running right now. But the X21 Pro was the original that I ran a couple years ago. It's amazing ride. You can get an H20 now with a 175 Yamaha show. Everything rigged exclusively with Yamahas. And I got to spend some time in that boat last week, which is very important to my mental, just sanity. It keeps me from, running people off the road, having road rage, doing crazy things. I got to get out in the Express and catch a bass. So Express Boats, building excitement since 1966. The LOB jig was all I could catch them on at Smith after 8 a.m. Well, heck yeah. This time of year, dude, I'm telling you, and I say it every week, this thing does shine this time of year. This time of year in particular was when I really fell in love with this style jig. But that finer than frog hair skirt, man, it will get you some extra bites this time of year. I promise you. You can throw it on bigger line, that type thing. So I like it. Even Trey Swindle gets a bite on it from time to time. So he says. But then he became a minnow fisherman. He just pings a minnow around all the time. He ain't even out there throwing no LOB jig. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I see him waiting in the wings here. I want you to bring him in lowlifer style. Welcome him to the family, because we've already, like I said, one of my favorite podcasts I've ever done was with his papa. His dad is somebody that I've looked up to in this industry for many moons. He's a class act, a veteran, and guess what? There's just another one coming and another one. That's how it goes, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to add him right now, even if he ain't ready. He better be.
I'm ready.
Beau Browning, what's up, dude?
Oh, what's up, Hammer? I was born ready. When you texted me the other day, I was like, I'm all in. I'm coming.
Listen, I don't even give a man a chance to enjoy qualifying for the elites. I'm like, hey, buddy, congratulations. Want to do a podcast? I'm one of those guys.
Like, I'm in. Count me in. I'm here for it.
Hey, we all got a job to do, right? This is mine now. I do this. And so you did your job. You got it done at Martin, man. And I I think I was texting with you that clip, and I know you've probably heard this a million times, but you saying, I want to be like that, dude. That got me right in the old fields. I'm a 41-year-old, and it just happened to be my oldest son, Hudson, had turned 17 the day before. I was in my dad fields anyways, and then I got that, and I'm like, come on, Beau. You can't be doing that to me. Somebody was cutting onions around me when I'm watching that clip, but that was real emotion coming out, man. That was too cool to see.
It was, man. That day two of that thing, and I'm sure we'll dive into it in a lot of detail, but going into day two of that tournament, it was one of those deals where you could feel it was all on the line, you know. I mean, there was no shortage of just stress, anxiousness, emotion. It was just emotion filled. And I mean, I haven't got to obviously rewatch live or anything, but I can't wait to go watch the full day, because there was many moments throughout the day of, like, you know, just pure D emotion, especially that flurry though, that morning though, of the two big ones back to back. It bubbled out a little bit then, no doubt.
No doubt, man. And it's such a, I know so many of y'all that are trying to make it and haven't fished. I know what you go through, but this 9-event gauntlet that these EQs have been, man, it's nothing to sneeze at. And you dudes just kind of, I'll be honest, I feel like y'all just kind of walk through it a little bit. You make it look easy, but dude, you averaged, a 38th place finish overall was your average out of 9 tournaments. I mean, I think your worst, you had a 76, which out of 225 is a bump in the road, but it's like, dang, man, that's going to happen. I mean, there's going to be somebody where you want to go, but talk about the stress level. I mean, you're saying that day two, it kind of comes bubbling out, that emotion, but how stressful is that ride, those 9 EQ tournaments, man, especially say about event 5 when it starts to set in?
I was just about to say about mid season, you start to really feel it. So, I mean, for me, I came out of the gate, and the one real big survival tournament for me was Okeechobee, and it was the first one of the year. And I was like, I got to make it through this one, and I top 10'd it. And to get that out of the way, I kind of was like feeling good, you know. I kind of started jiving, and then I go to Ouachita, and you know how I am. I'm like, I'm about to roll up here on my home lake, drop
home
on them. I'm coming for them. Well, I didn't count in, you know, that apparently we have minnow-pinging fish all out in the middle of that joker.
Yes, y'all do.
Yeah, well, they found them, and I didn't even know they ever lived there, to be completely honest with you. So I wound up there, rolled my little square bill around, and got my teeth kicked in my opinion, like finishing like the mid-50s or something. And but anyways, then I rolled on to, where did we go after that? Santee, caught them decent there. Then we went to Logan Martin, caught them decent there. And then Eufaula came around. My buddy, little Trey, he caught him.
A little Trey caught him. Easton caught him. All the buddies caught him.
All the buddies caught him except for me. I was back there in the back of the pack. I was struggling. I had me a decent day one and only weighed in for the second day. And you can't do that. Really and truly, you can't do that in opens. You cannot have one of those deals. You can't leave a fish on the table like that, what I'm getting at. And that's where it hit. That's where it hit me. Like, whoa, you gotta figure out how to get your feet back under you, because that crap. And the biggest thing I think for me was and I hate to say my head went here, but I started thinking like, man, I'd hate for that to cost me at the end. That one keeper, because one keeper you follow in that tournament, if I'd had another keeper, I'd have been up making a check. But instead, I was down there like 70 somethings or whatever it was, and that's where it hit. And but I felt good about the northern swing because I love smallmouth fishing and was able to get the wheels back on the bus there, make some checks, get some good finishes, and then I ended up with a really strong final three, and that was what drug everything back together and put me where I was. But you follow was where it hit me hard. I mean, I walked in the church when I got back from that one, and I mean, dude, I broke down at the front of it. I really did. I went up to the front, man. That's how heavy it was on me. I went up to the front of the church to pray. And I don't do that. I don't like stepping up front of church. It makes me a little uncomfortable. I went up there to the front of church, and I mean, it broke me down. And he picked me right back up, though, carried me back on through the rest of the season.
And you rolled on with it, man. I mean, you had a couple top 20s there late in the year. Now, you did have one top 10 this year down at Okeechobee, kind of kicked things off, really good there.
Right.
Was that after Washita? Was that the second tournament?
No, Okeechobee was the first one.
Okeechobee, that was the Scott Martin show. That was the Scott Martin show, and that kind of started. It seems like that was forever ago. It's almost November. I'm like, golly, it was a long season. But man, you definitely turned it around. And dude, I gotta ask you, and obviously this is the layup question you got to be asked. But how? And I have not texted your dad. I've started to, because I know he's just got to be beaming. But how fired up are mom and dad right now, man?
Oh, it was. They're stoked. I mean, they're stoked. That it was one of those deals where, like, because we had to stay an extra day after to get the ceremony and all that, and it was like every 2 seconds he was just throwing a hand on my back, like, that's fatherly.
Awesome. Yeah, man.
Man, when I pulled up after day 2 at Martin, I mean, my boat pulled up to the dock and I jumped out and they were both sitting there waiting, and we all group hugged and started crying. I mean, it was, it just, and it wasn't in the sense that I knew I had made it. It was just in the sense that it was like I worked my butt off and did everything I could, and it's over now. Now it's all, we're just going to have to see what happens. But we all three broke down and started crying when I got back, because it was like, I did my job. We're just going to have to see, and it was an emotional afternoon on the banks of Lake Martin. And
I can imagine, especially after watching you on live, right? Like they can't be in the boat with you necessarily, but they got to be in the boat with you. They got to feel all the emotion on FS1. Here's their boys trying to live out his dream right here on TV, and then to get to kind of intercept you there on actually be at Lake Martin. I'm sure it was emotional, man. I can only imagine what that was like for y'all, and something y'all never forget.
I mean, Trey Swindle's mom was there. She was crying. Miss Tracy was crying.
Miss Tracy's the best.
She is a heck of a cheerleader. I'll give her that. And we were all, I mean, everybody. Trey was choking up. I mean, it was just everybody that I cared about seemed like they were there, and we were just all caught up in that moment. It was awesome.
Well, and dude, talk about too, being a Montevallo Falcon. Me and Miss K actually brought this up on the Alabama Bass Trail podcast we recorded earlier today. I mean, y'all kicking out that school's kicking out just some freaks of nature. But you and Easton, I had never really heard of Easton until I hung out with your dad to record a podcast. And he was telling me, he's like, hey, better watch this young man right here. I'm telling you, he's special. Him and Beau are tight, and he's something. He's like, I'm just telling you. And it wasn't long. It was like, boom, wins the bracket. Boom, he's in your face. Boom. Oh, he's just going to walk through the EQs like they're not even there. Oh, he's going to win the points. But how special is it going to be going into your rookie season, knowing that you and him are going to be right there together, having known each other for a while?
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, it's just knowing that we already have that roommate chemistry that we can kind of roll into the next level. That goes a long way, and it makes things easy, when you kind of just pick up right where you left off. And we were talking about it. Me and him and Kyle Jesse from Bassmaster were talking about it. And we were like, man, it would have sucked if he'd have made it and I wouldn't have. And then I was playing catch up to get up there with him. But it's going to be really nice to have that. And, he's a quiet guy. You kind of got to know how to communicate with him. So it took me a little while to learn our chemistry, I guess, if that's the word, of how to operate together. And we're not the type of guys that throw all of our waypoints together and, you go here, I go there. We're not that type, but you got to learn how how to fish with your roommates, if that makes sense. And we are big on bouncing stuff off each other. Have you tried this? Did you go up here? Did you do that? It sucked because we couldn't at lacrosse because
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So that was a really weird tournament because it was like good practice. Yeah. Okay. And that was it. And then that was the end of the conversation. So that was different, but we both did good there. So it worked out fine. But yeah, it's going to be nice to have that same chemistry, same atmosphere going forward into the elites now.
Well, and it seems like we saw that this year, right? With the EQ qualifiers, a lot of them hung out, a lot of them were roommates through the opens, and they just carried that right into the elites, and the success followed too, right? I feel like you guys that come through the high school ranks, that come through the college ranks, I feel like you have such an advantage now versus a normal rookie when you do get to that point, because you've traveled all over the country. You figured out that flat tires suck and how to book houses and what happens when the weather gets bad. You know what I mean? Like when you used to just get kind of, all right, I qualified, especially in the 3 event opens. All right, I made the top 5 or whatever it was. Now I've qualified. You're still not you've never really seen the country. And I feel like, especially in the college ranks, when you guys are at Montevallo, you're traveling all over the place. You guys were fishing tournaments all over the place all the time. So you are seasoned. And then when you make the jump to the opens, it prepares you that much more. And then when you get to the elites, now you get to go carry your roommate with you,
right,
who also happens to win the EQ points. And, he's a fish catcher just like yourself. So when you talk about Easton and your fishing styles, I know you like to get up there and throw that chatterbait around. You like to square bill around, but I know you also like to fish offshore. Easton strikes me as a really versatile guy. I think he gets a lot of credit for just live scope stuff. I think people see him that way. But what would you say like his strong suit is and your strong suit is as roommates when you're comparing notes?
He's a scoper and I'm a shallow water power fisherman. 100%.
Okay.
I don't think he would disagree with that at all. I mean, he is one of those guys that almost every cast he makes is going to have to do with his live scope.
Okay, so he is all in on that for sure. He is labeled that correctly. Then
I feel like he's a certified,
okay.
But I like it because I can go wind my little cricket down the bank. I'm like, hey, I got 2 bites today. He's like, oh, well, I scoped up, 20 pounds first day of practice. And you're like, oh, okay, I need to get out there and probably go around a little bit.
I need to sneak around a little bit and look.
We've had multiple times this year where between the 2 of us, we could put together, you're going to catch a easy limit scoping, but if you want to catch a big one, you need to get up on the bank and, do this and flip or chatterbait or whatever it might be. So it kind of goes hand in hand. You just got to figure out, like we figured out how to use each other to get the right information. And when somebody is so good at a certain deal, like me being a shallow water power fisherman, him being a scoper, when they tell you something, it's going to be spot on. You know what I'm saying? Like I can tell where a deal is taking off. He can tell when the scoping deal is starting to shine, and we're able to use that, intertwined.
Is that hard for you though to put down the bank, like put down is that tough for you? Even if he's going, hey man, you better get your butt out here. Is that hard? Because for me, and I'm an old man, but for me, it's hard. Like I love catching them scoping. I've said that on here a million times. I love it. I do. But dude, sometimes if they're biting that buzzer up there or my little old jig or a square bill, like I struggle with, I ought to go out there and poke around. Do you ever, is that ever a struggle for you? Or is that something where it's all business? I know I got to go out there if I'm going to compete. Is that where it comes in with you?
Yeah, it's kind of, it's like that. It's harder at certain places. I feel like when we were at St. Clair, it was a deal to do. I mean, we were both out there the whole time, but you get a place like Eufaula and Easton's like, I'm scoping them. And I'm like, it's Eufaula. I'm catching them on the bank, dog.
We in Oklahoma, dude.
In Oklahoma. So that was where it kind of got tricky. But I mean, I'm also one of those guys, like I'll go out there and scope all day, but you can bet your rear end I'm going to have a chatterbait on the front deck. And at some point in time, it might be for 5 minutes, I'm going to go, the wind's blowing against that point. I'm going to go wind that thing across there 2 times. And I might have to just go get it out of my system. And I might catch a 5-pounder. I might not catch anything, but I'm going to have to go get it out of my system at some point in time during the day. You're not going to see me with 3 minnows and 2 Nico rigs and go. I'm gonna have to balance it out just a little bit, but I've gotten better at knowing that I'm gonna have to be out there. And at the same point, I love it. I freaking love to live scope. I hate,
Yeah.
you know, I'm sure there's some people in a certain cult out there that are gonna jump all over me saying that. But
They probably ain't here, dog. They're not here. They're griping about something in the Facebook comments somewhere. They're not here.
There's stuff to complain about, but they but no, it's just I love doing it because the end of the day, I like putting my bait in front of fish, and I can do it with that dang live scope. It's awesome. It's the coolest piece of technology I've ever seen in my life. Now it's not
I'm with you, man.
cracking them on a big flipping stick up in the dirt, but it's cool. It's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't waste as many casts as I do when I'm flipping up in the dirt. At least I know I'm throwing mine in front of something. It might be a catfish, but I'm throwing it in front of something.
Exactly. And when you get caught in those tougher tournaments, it definitely is nice to know you're throwing in front of a fish every cast.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Did we lose Beau? Beau is gone. Low lifers, you still with me? Hit me in the comment. There, he's back, and he's back.
Some telemarketer calling me. I had a card.
Was it Trey Swindle?
It probably was.
He was commenting. He was commenting, saying, "Beau is the man. Couldn't be more happy for you, brother." And I put it up on the screen. And not long after that's when your screen went black. So I feel like little Trey might have been putting some juju on there. I don't know. He might have been calling.
Right. He probably posted my phone number to.
He probably did. He's telling people free chatterbaits here. Anything Z-Man, call this number.
Free tungsten evos from Beau Browning. Call this number.
Yes. for a free tungsten evo. I'm going to call you for those if you're giving those away.
I'm telling you,
that's the juicy juice there.
I'll be needing some LOB jigs at some point in time. So
hey, look, here's a whole handful, buddy. I'll trade you right here. Right here. Hey, little Trey, I'll tell you, that's a good little jig. It's a fish.
I've caught more fish on that jig this year than I can. That's probably.
Hey,
90% of the time now.
What? Say that again for the folks at home. Listen to this. This is an Elite Series qualifier. Don't listen to me. I can't even catch a fish. Now, I can design a pretty good jig, and it does get a bite, but this man's trying to speak to you, people.
I'm being serious. That when I picked it, because Trey told me about it, and I was like, come on. And I looked at the hook, and I was like, it's either going to be one of those jigs that I really love or I really hate. Threw it for about a month around here. I got a box full of them, dog.
I got a text, and I was, when it was funny when I was reaching out to you the other day, it popped back up, from you. You were at Baitworks, and you actually were putting jigs together at Baitworks, and you said, "Hey, if you get some complaints, it's not my fault." And I said, "You get out of there." He said, "These are the Beau Browning LOBs." Yeah. And you were putting something together. I thought that was really cool when that happened, and man, I appreciate that, dude. I really, I think I see the number, like, people order them. I get emails when it happens. I get a lot of messages on social media about it, but I still think there are people sleeping on the jig, and and the people at Baitworks will get mad at me for saying this probably. Shout out to Brock Bila and the crew there. But I mean, I'm good if they keep sleeping on it, because it gets bit.
I know. And I mean, a jig's a jig, as people would like to say, but it's not, there's not many jigs that you can fish all which ways. You can take an jig and you can fish it, you can flip it, you could swim it if you wanted to. You could throw it out there and drag it through piles. And I'm not just sitting on here selling product. I promise you that. If they need me to, I'll post an Instagram story tonight with my jig box out there, and it'll be full of them. So
that's awesome.
But it's a versatile jig. Hats off to you on that one, because it's my go-to now. So.
Well, I appreciate that, buddy. And this time of year, man, no joke, like, not to just be a total sales pitch, but like it is this time of year, it does shine. Like, I throw it all year, but this time of year, man, when it starts getting stingy, you can get a bite. And I think Will Trey called him on it at Martin. He said in the comments earlier, he hadn't told me that on the phone or anything. All he does is gives me a hard time about football. Which, I mean, I can't even believe I thought it was a good idea to have an Arkansas resident on this show after what happened a couple of weeks ago in Fayetteville.
It's all right. We'll lose to a community college next couple of weeks, probably somewhere down the road. So
I can't believe I didn't hear from Kyle Jesse on that, to be honest.
I know.
I haven't gotten a good ribbon from him on it yet. And I'm really surprised, because he's normally on it when it comes to me in Tennessee.
I did. When I thought right there at the end, I thought y'all were going to get us. I was like, there was too much stuff happening. I was like, they got something up their sleeve. They're about to get us, but
we didn't. We didn't. We didn't at all. And I said, dude, when the schedule came out, I said, that's a trap game. Fayetteville at potentially at night, anywhere SEC on the road obviously is tough. But we didn't lose to Vanderbilt. I'll say that. Arkansas is a hell of a school. We didn't lose to Vanderbilt, so take that, Trace Wendell. And then let South Carolina almost beat us. So no big deal. No big deal. All right. You come from this fishing family, grew up on the water, literally live on the water. Dude, I remember meeting you, and you probably don't remember, but at a Sealy event your dad and I were at. It's been several years ago, but you were barely in high school. I feel like the first time I ever was around you a little bit, but you grew up watching the circus, right? Like you grew up. It's a little bit like I had Alton Jones Jr. on a few weeks ago. Like it could go one way or the other, right? You've got the Laker Hal, Laker and his brother. Like his brother Oakley doesn't like it that much. Laker's all in. So I think it could go either way. You chose to go all in. Was there ever a point, because your dad, I know he's very analytical about the sport, about everything. He's seen a lot of changes, but he's $1.7 million in earnings, 46 top tens. I mean, he has had the career you dream about, multiple classics and Red Crest. But did he ever, when you said, hey, I think this is what I want to do, did he ever try to steer you away from it? Or what was some advice? Was he brutally honest? Can you talk about that? Like when you said, all right, hey, I'm serious about this. This is what I want. How did that go with Steven?
He was very much on the, from the standpoint of it's not easy, and also it's hard to make. Sorry, that's my dog back here behind us. He's losing his mind, but he was very much on the page of this is not going to be easy. You're not going to be a baseball rich athlete, a football rich athlete. There's not $1 million deals getting thrown around. You're going to have to work your butt off for it, basically, and you're not going to be rich. So he let me know that very early on and showed me this is going to be tough, but you can do it. But you got to play your cards perfectly right. Do the social media, do the marketing side of things. You have to really know how to work your way around it. And, and it didn't fear me. It didn't scare me. I mean, I went into it with no fear because I'm one of those guys that I'm like, I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out along the way. And I'm sure there'll be highs and there'll be lows, but it's going to work out just fine. It's going to work out exactly how it's meant to. So I took a lot of thought to it, but it never scared me, I guess. He really wanted me to be a professional golfer. You ought to ask him about that sometime, because that was what I was going to go to college to do originally, was play golf. And that was always the deal. I was going to go to college to play golf, be a professional golfer, and try to be, and then be able to afford to fish wherever, whatever I wanted to, all over the world.
Question, Mr. Browning, question. Why didn't you do that? It's a fishing podcast. I love it. I'm obsessed with it, but buddy, I'm stuck in it. I've been in it forever. I don't know if you've watched the Netflix documentary series on those golfers, my friend, but it's a little different than them free jig deals. They making some bank over there.
They're not
that finishes last is making money, Beau Browning.
I know. And I mean, honestly, it came down to I just didn't love it. I mean, I didn't love it like I loved bass fishing, and that was what made me go all in on bass fishing. But things work out the way they're meant to, and I feel like I can play my cards right on this one. And if not, I'll go to selling real estate with mom and doing whatever. I'll sell.
If you follow in her footsteps, you're gonna be doing all right too. It's like you're good either way.
I know, but I can do it. I believe in myself, so we'll see.
But you're going to be just fine, man. And I think again, like I said, coming from the college ranks and having that so many competitions under your belt, and then going into the opens and seeing that big level competition put you in an advantage. But man, I just don't see you as a guy that's going to be surprised by much you're going to see. And I'm not talking about, there may be a flood, there may be a cold front, there may be whatever that throws you for a loop. But as far as just, this is what happens in professional fishing. Man, you lived it. You grew up in it. So what could you see that would throw you for a loop. And I think, again, going to like a little Alton Jones Jr., we see his success, man. I feel like you're born to do it. No doubt about it.
Understanding it too. I mean, you understand what goes into it. And like you said, nothing really catches you off guard. And it does, obviously it helps. That's the biggest thing that Dad's been helpful for, is the industry side of things. I mean, I bounce a lot of my stuff off of him, especially, some things come up and you're like, is this good? Is this really as good as it sounds? Or is this, what do you think on this? And that it makes it really nice, because our industry is hard to work around. I mean, it's very cutthroat, and I'm not throwing any shade on anybody. That's just the honest truth. It's a cutthroat industry that we try to make a living in. So having somebody that really knows it well and can help guide you a little bit. And I'm very fortunate to be in with some companies right now that really are believing in me and very supportive of what I do. And I've got great relationships with them. That's the biggest thing for me, is having strong relationships, because I like being able to pick up the phone and call somebody and know when things are good and when things are bad, and, just stay in tune.
No, I think that I think you're off to a pretty good start, buddy. I see that sponsor stable. That was actually a question I had, is going into, because I mean, these opens in October. This is something I've discussed a lot, and I talk with, like next year, you look at these EQs, they're going to be over with, probably call it November. You got to turn around. You got to get your butt ready. You got to get sponsors ready. When you make it, it's not easy. And you were right there. It was a battle. Those last three, it wasn't like Easton. Like, he probably knew, all right, I can kind of start making plans towards the Elite. Yeah. Have you done anything so far sponsor wise? I know you've got a great stable, but have you added anything? Have you started working on that? And I mean, I know that's probably not fair because it's only been a couple days, but you got to think that way, right? I mean, it's coming.
I've got a lot of stuff this week to talk about. I've got a lot of phone calls and big conversations going down this week. There's a few changes that were already in place, and I think a lot of that had to do with companies that already saw kind of the potential from this past season so far, as well as the social media side of things. I really try to work my butt off on the social media side of things and have some people that help me, as well as do my own work. And I really try to make sure my social media is as good as I feel like I can do, because that's what a lot of our industry looks at now. I mean, as much as I wouldn't say hate to say it, but as sad as it is, it's kind of come down to a followers, likes, and comments type of deal. And that's good. I mean, there's very big pros and there's some cons to it as well. But,
there's some real pros and there's some con artists, son. What are you talking about? Sorry, Beau. I ain't trying to get you in no controversy, but that's true.
You can take off on me right there.
There's some real pros and there's some cons. Continue.
So, I don't know. There's some big stuff coming. I mean, I'm gonna make some changes that's going into this next year, but I've never been so sure of making these changes in my life, and that's just because when you go into the gauntlet for a year, you figure out who's behind you and who's not, big time.
Good point, man.
So I'm gonna make a few changes. That's what I'm gonna say, and you'll hear about them pretty soon. But okay. I mean, still is, man. Dang, our damn deposits are due November 5th for the Elite.
That's what I was gonna say. It's coming, son. Like that's what people don't realize. So November 5th. This is October the 14th. Low lifers, as you're listening, and we all keep up with this, and we're fans of the sport. And you're like, I see the comments over here. Tom Mix coming in. Good evening, low lifers. Hi, Luke. Hey, Beau Browning. Congrats on making the Elites. You're seeing a lot of congratulations. All of that looks good, and you got the trophies on stage and the big cardboard check. Oh my gosh, you made it. Oh, well, congratulations, Ricky. Now we need your money, because that's how this sport goes, man. It's quick, dude.
Hank Weldon's one of the greatest people out there. I really
listen, dude. Don't blow his head up, please.
I'm just saying.
No.
I like Hank. I know our little buddy, has his
Dude, you had to go there with little Trey.
Sorry, Trey. I'm sorry.
Listen, if Trey had insurance, okay, if he had insurance, him and Hank would be better buddies.
Yeah. Well, that's all I'm going to say.
I'm getting a call after this from Hank and Trey, by the way.
Yeah, I'm going to get kicked off. I'm going to be somewhere else here. Hank Weldon is the best tournament director I've ever personally had dealt with. I will say that for 100% fact. The people at Bassmaster that I've worked with or been around, I've been very, very, very complimentary of because they are really serious about their job. The ones that I've dealt with, so Hank, one of those people, but he got us where I was going with that is at stage the other day. He gave us all of our EQ plaques and everything. At the end, he kind of gave us a little congratulations, pay attention to the rules, this and that. Your deposits are due November 5th. And he said, all right, y'all have fun. Welcome to the big leagues.
Slide that in there.
Lisa Townsend's your person now. So have fun. November 5th.
By the way, we need your credit card. Thanks for making it.
I was like, God,
welcome to pro fishing.
Yeah, we just got here.
Dude, I was just excited about this. Now I got to give you an American Express.
Yeah, right. But that's part of it. There's no shade in that. It was actually very funny. We all started laughing about it because it was a funny little.
Well, it is that reality check too, a little bit, right? Like that's just our sport. That's the way it's played. Unfortunately, at the top of the top of the top, which you're at now, we still have to pay entry fees. That's the deal, and has been for a very long time. But that is that, like, oh man, we're got you. The bros are all celebrating. No, by the way, we need to swipe your credit card in a month. So figure it out.
Who wants to buy my truck? Who wants to buy my property out here? I got to figure out something.
Exactly, man. Exactly. Trey Swindle in the comments says we'd be better off if we knew the schedule. There's a lot of folks kind of tore up about that open schedule right now. Trey asked me today on Instagram if I was announcing the open schedule tonight. I said, I'm not. Hank never told me that.
I saw that, but I'm not. But I will say this, and I'm not going to say anything more of it. There will be a Browning in the opens next year.
Uh-oh. Were you allowed? Was that an official announcement? Were you allowed to say that?
No, I mean, there could be.
There could potentially a Browning.
The way the opens could set up, that could be opportunity for a Browning to be in the opens. I will say this: I'm coming back to fishing the EQs next year because I think having a fall league EQ season is going to be the funnest thing to do for me. Oh
yeah, man! I love fall tournaments. They're stingy. Like people griping about Martin in the comments, like, oh, look at these guys getting up, excited about a 3-pounder. I was reading all the dumb Facebook comments because people don't know what they're talking about. Dude, Martin was fun.
It was cool.
People were catching, like, I like it when Bobby Bakewell, which I don't know Bobby, he looks like a great time. He looks like a good one, dude. When he caught that 410 on the buzzer, dude, that was awesome. That's what it's all about, man. I don't. Somebody's always going to catch them. I don't care how stingy it is, but Martin's just full of fish. And I understand if you're used to watching tournaments that go down at Lake Fork, or if that's the only tournament you've ever watched, you're like, why aren't these guys catching 40 pounds? Well, that doesn't happen everywhere, right? Like it just doesn't. So I loved Martin. I thought it was a really cool venue to host the EQs there to end the year, since you couldn't go to Hartwell. And Hartwell would have been the same way. It would have been a little bit better weight-wise over the top, but still, like a 4-pounder is a big deal there in the fall.
That's what everybody was saying. They're like, man, I wish we were at Hartwell. I'm sorry, man. Junk fishing like we were at Martin, that's the crap that I do out here behind the house. I mean, you got 10 rods out, and you go slide a jig under that dock, go throw your popper in that shade line, go jump in the back of that creek, run around, go scope a little bit. That's fun, man. That was a cool tournament. And that'll be a tournament that, whether people want to admit it or not, they're going to go back and rewatch the live footage and stuff like that, because there's nothing else. We really haven't seen one like that in a long time.
No, it was fun, man. I think that Lake of the Ozarks last year was fun in the EQs because it was kind of like that. I mean, it was a lot of offshore brush stuff, but it was still, you had guys up on the bank doing their thing. And I love that, really. And I'm not a scoping hater. We've talked about it here tonight. But I did like the fact that you could watch Paul Marks out there in the abyss, and then they'd go to Beau Browning on the bank with the top water, and then they'd go to Cody Meyer skipping and Dakota doing a little bit of everything. Like, it was a cool tournament. It really was. I think it was a lot of fun to keep up with. I hated that it didn't have more boats, to be honest, but to be fair, me and Lil Trey were talking about that this weekend. If it had more boats, though, would you have the same outcome? Would that bank beating deal go down? You know what I mean? Like, would those fish been more pressured? Would those better fish bid under those docks and on those shade lines and things? I mean, who knows? So
Right.
having fewer boats might have made a big difference in that tournament and how it went down.
I felt like at Martin, this is just me speaking from what I saw and as with Easton as roommate, kind of what we were talking about and stuff. I feel like the lake was in better shape than it would have been if we'd have had 225 boats.
Probably.
200 and 4.5 days of practice. I think they're going to make a change to that next year, from what I hear. 4.5 days, 225, non-shaken off, crack their head guys out there. It takes a toll on the lake. It really does.
Dude, it's awful. It's awful. One of the last opens I fished down on Smith in the fall was down there. I mean, it's close to the house. Me and Trey were practicing a good bit, and we were sinking brush because, we're geniuses and we never caught a fish off brush. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. Almost cut my hand off sinking brush for that tournament. My boat looked like a grizzly bear had attacked both of us. There was so much blood in that express from one end of it to the other. At daylight the next morning, I pulled up at a damn car wash, and there was a lady walked by and said, "Oh my God, there was blood every damn where." But anyways, there was I'll never forget, like a week and a half before it, up shallow, it was happening. Like it was going down. Like you weren't going to have to fish out. It was so good. Throwing a buzzer, throwing a plopper, the whole deal, right? Throwing a glide bait a little bit. When practice started and everybody went through those pockets, they just got off of it. I think there was one guy, I think his last name was Wiggins, most likely, but one guy that ended up catching him on a dang buzzer. Like that was it. Like that actually did any good. It sucked so bad, but it does take its toll. It does. From the first day of practice to Thursday, there's a massive difference in those fisheries due to and it could be as simple as the boats running around in the noise, but it dang sure makes a difference on a fishery.
It does. And I mean, we saw it, like, I think, was Trey talking about it on here about Leech Lake having the off day that saved it?
Yes. Yeah, it was Trey.
That was a textbook example of it. They gave us, we had a wind cancel at Leech, and it gave an off day. And I guarantee you those weights wouldn't have been what they were if it wasn't for that day to just give those fish something. And I don't know if this is, true, but I heard rumors that they're going to shorter practice and an off day next year.
Big killer.
Somebody was saying that at weigh-in the other day. And that would be a really, really, really good call for the opens. I think
so. I think you would see better weights, obviously better fishing across the board. On the tour, when I fished FLW, we started practice on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday was an off day. And I always felt like that off day helped so much. Even if you started feeling like, it's getting kind of wonky towards the end of practice, they're getting beat up that day. Always helped those first day weights. I felt like, especially if it was a shallow derby, like every time that was the deal. Okay. In my opinion, that we got Brock Beal in the comment. They're just chirping. You got Stick from Baitworks chirping. my ADD is getting me, Bo. Hang on. I think they're giving Trey crap, which I'll allow. I'm good with that. I think old Duncan should ask Bo about the old fishing house in our neighbors. All right. Is that allowed? This is Brock Beal, Baitworks Brock Beal, the MPFL superstar stud himself.
I'm not. There's a lot. There's.
Is this from Drury University days? Is this? Oh, Bo. Oh,
I'm here,
and he's back. All right, you went away, and now you're back. Brock Beal ran you out. It would be a good potential reel for social. Okay.
The fishing house back at Drury, in the not in the ghetto, but it was in the rougher part of town.
Springfield, Missouri, too.
Springfield, right? Yeah, North Spring.
Okay. All right.
So we had this fishing house, man. It was just a crack house, but it was cheap and we could all live in it. And I mean, we were just being college kids, man. We had holes in the floor. The deck was falling in. That we didn't have hot water for like the whole time we were there. No heat, no AC. I mean, it was just greasy old college boys in a college house. We had a nice fridge. That was like the best part of the whole. And we had a barn in the backyard that we could park our boats in. So that was the big selling point that got us. Well, then we had a neighbor who was a crackhead and over and just walk in our house. And I mean, just Dude, it was unbelievable. Trey Swindle's heard these stories. I mean, he could tell you more detail off air, but it was just crazy crap going on. And then the neighbor ended up dying at one point in time.
In the house?
Not in our house, in his house, but it was just it was a crap show. But I look back on it and I'm like, that was like one of the craziest, most growing experiences of my life, because the crap that we saw and put up with there makes you appreciate living in a good house, and it makes you appreciate it. Trust me.
Listen, man, Springfield, no disrespect to any of this bait works crew. Y'all know I love Springfield. I spent a lot of time up there over the years traveling for work and whatnot. Springfield's one of the only places that I thought I was going to have to pull a gun on somebody one night at the DoubleTree in the parking lot while I was unloading my stuff. Like, Springfield gets a little rowdy sometimes, man. I don't know what Johnny Morris did up there, but I mean, it gets a little funky sometimes in Springfield.
It's a little Western in parts for sure.
In parts.
I never saw anything that was terrible. Never had anything happen that was terrible. There was a lot of shade in Springfield, but I think they have a big drug problem or something up there.
They do. Yeah. I was sitting in Springfield, Missouri one night for work. I was in my 20s. I'll never forget this. Probably late 20s. Calling on Tracker Marine and stuff for TH Marine at the time. I was working for them and watching the news. And they were talking about, what's the interstate? Is it 44? It goes through there. From like Lebanon goes all the way to St. Louis, Missouri. But they were talking about Lebanon, Missouri, which is to the east there a little bit, which I had to go to. Like G3 boats is over there. Tracker's got a plant. There's more pontoon boats and aluminum boats built right there than just about anywhere, right? Right there off the interstate. And they were talking about that was the epicenter of the meth, like, capital of America. I was sitting like click, click, click. And I stopped in like the Springfield News and they're like, tonight, Lebanon, Missouri, the absolute epicenter of the meth. And I'm like, oh, hell. All right.
Our favorite thing.
Me with a good time.
Our favorite thing at the crack house was sitting around and listening to the police scanner. Dude, I'm telling you, it was good stuff too. We saw 2 or 3 high-speed pursuits come by. I mean,
dude, good
stuff, man. Like, really good entertainment. Really good.
I love a good tasing, man. I will go down a rabbit hole on TikTok and on YouTube looking for tasing videos. It's I don't know what it says about me, Bo, but that's kind of how I fall asleep every night, bud.
Dad, his number one favorite thing in the world to watch is when they send them K9 units out there. I'm telling you.
I knew me and Stephen Browning should be best friends for sure. Like, I knew we were going to be at some point. Now it's just, dude, I'm all in. Cops.
He'll pause it and then call where the dog's going to latch on. He'll hit pause and go left cheek. No, right cheek. He's keyed in on the right side. Right cheek. Watch. And he'll jump all over him. He's like, told you.
Who knew Stephen liked a good canine fight so much.
He likes watching the K9 jumps on the crackheads. He loves it.
Dude, I love it, man. And I shouldn't really talk that much stuff about Springfield, because it is an amazing area. You got Table Rock Lake, not that place, some of the most beautiful country in the world. But man, sometimes, like I said, you get over around Walmart, around the DoubleTree over there, around East Kearney, you got to be a little bit, you got to be careful. Dude, I'll say this, right here in my hometown, little B hometown, Lawrenceburg, Tennessee. Born and raised, never left other than go to college. I don't know who's busting in the crackheads around here, because we don't see that. You don't see folks, asking for money, panhandling. Dude, it's everywhere now. And I know folks are having a hard time, in life. But, dude, I left here to go to the grocery store, left my house, about a 10-minute drive into town. I swear I almost ran over like 5 different crackheads between my house, going through this one stretch of town. I had this one old boy walking straight. He just walked up the damn road in front of me. I'm revving up the truck. Dude, this is like a 40-mile-an-hour zone, and nobody's just walking up, just enjoying himself. Shoots me a bird because I got up on him because I was in a hurry. And to cap it off, I went to Walmart. I'm leaving Walmart, and I want to know what everybody thinks here in the comments about this, what Beau Browning thinks about this. And this fella could have been hard on his luck, that's fine. But he made him a sign, real nice sign. But on this sign, he was asking for money. He said, I'm traveling. He spelled traveling wrong. I wasn't here to judge that. But traveling, hungry, and broke is what his sign said, okay? But then he said, Beau Browning and low lifers, he said at the bottom, he gave his Venmo and his Cash App where you could give him some freaking money. Now listen, Now listen, if you walking around with one of these and you got Venmo and Cash App and you're trying to tell me you having a hard time, I got a hard time with that, buddy. I just rolled down my window, shook my head. I'm like, buddy, you out here telling me what your Cash App is?
Trace Wendell's running quarters through a shower house somewhere out right now, and this guy's Venmo.
I'm like, I got a little buddy that can't even take a shower because it costs $0.25 and he ain't got a damn quarter. And you out here telling me what your Venmo is standing at Walmart? I don't care where you're trying to get. He probably got out of a Mercedes. Probably. I'm telling you, man, that stuff, dude, I'm all about helping anybody. I'll help anybody I can. Well, I saw that. I was like, buddy, I want to throw a rock at you. Listen, I just, that kind of stuff always gets me. I don't know why I felt the need to share that with you people tonight, but that was something that's been on my heart ever since it was Sunday afternoon. And he's got him a nice sign, man, really nice sign up there. And I'm like, brother, I might go about it a different way than Cash App. And here's my Cash App and my Venmo. Well, what's your Instagram too, so we can tag you? Like, what are we doing? Old boy scheming. Local honey bun needs to get a Venmo. There you go. Showers and honey buns are expensive these days. What Travis Teague says. Just as long as they're not eating your pets. No, we've had no cats and dogs that I know of. I got a yard full of dogs. Ain't none of them missing. They too damn mean to be ate. Probably.
Did anything ever come from the guy that wrecked his truck in your front yard? I remember seeing something.
No, dude. He disappeared into thin air. I was with the cops, and I didn't put this on the video. For those of y'all that didn't see this, y'all can go see it on my Instagram, Facebook, whatever. It's a guy. It was middle of the day. My shop's pretty close where I was working that day, and my neighbor sends me a text, and it's a picture of this old boy with a just trash truck, and it's pointed kind of in a very weird way right in the middle of the road. And he says, hey, my wife's at home and this just happened in front of your house. Are you home? Did you hear this? I said, no, man, I'm at the shop. So I come home and my stepson had beat me there, and he goes, hey, I just pulled up and there was like 20 people pushing that truck out of the road. And when I pulled in the driveway, they all ran. And I said, they ran? He goes, yeah, they scattered like cockroaches and they left like they didn't want to talk to nobody. And I said, well, were the cops here or anything? He's like, I don't think these kind of folks were going to call the cops, Luke. And I said, all right, well, damn, I will. So I called the cops, get the cops out here. I'm like, look, dude, they left this truck. And in the video, y'all can see it's got life jackets in the back, oxygen tanks, coolers. Like, it's got a wide assortment of things. Truck's got a disabled driver tag. And I'm like, well, I mean, all right. And the truck is totaled. Like, ain't going nowhere ever again, total. Got to be pulled out of there on a wrecker. So I called dispatch, buddy of mine. I'm like, hey, come out here, check this truck out. I want to get it out of the yard, that whole thing. And they get there, run the tags, and they call the guy. Turns out it was, and I may have put this in the video, I can't remember, but it was this fella that owned the truck. It was his grandson, basically borrowed the truck. And I think he borrowed a bunch of booze too. And he was going so fast, he had hit a tree across from he's lucky there's a bluff across from my house. And he's very, very lucky that he did not go off about 100-foot bluff. He's very lucky that he did not do that. And he glanced off the tree, destroyed the truck, and ended up in my yard backwards and then left it. So we call the daggum, I'm standing there with the cop. When he calls, they go to the guy's house and they're like, hey, your truck's at this old boy's in his yard. We're fixing to tow it. He goes, well, I hadn't been anywhere. I think my truck's in there. And it was pitiful. Like the granddaddy walks out and the truck's gone. Oh, well, my grandson grandson had gotten, was on everything but roller skates, it looked like, but he was not having a good day. And that was the last I heard of it, buddy. They got the truck, they towed it, tow truck rolled up. I'm like, they tell the guy, hey, this is where it'll be. Guy asked him about, like, over the radio, they're having this whole conversation. Is a truck drivable? No, you're never going to drive this truck again. So anyways, it was, it's never a dull moment around here.
Yeah. I hate that for the grandpa.
Yeah, right. I did too, man. I was hard. Like, when hearing the story, I was like, damn it, but old boy was it makes you nervous when you got kids on the road and stuff, Beau. You'll understand that one of these days. Makes you nervous when you watch. I'm like, dang, somebody's out here just rowdy at like 2:00 in the afternoon. And I do got it pretty good. Like, I'll say this. It allegedly, okay, if you were going to go beer drinking and riding around, which you shouldn't do. I've never done it. I don't know anybody that has. But I'm just saying, the area I live in would be good for that. That's what I've heard. That's what I've heard. By the beer bottles in my yard all the time, I would say it's a very good beer drinking road.
Just going off the sign. Going off the signs.
When I mow, I see a lot of them. Life lessons with Luke Duncan, folks. I hope my kids aren't watching this. My youngest likes to get on these lives and give me a hard time. I hadn't seen him in the comments tonight, so it's safe to tell that story. Yeah, don't ever drink and drive, but people do it, obviously. I think it happens. I've heard it happens on my road. That's all I'm saying. All right, Beau Browning, what are you looking forward to most about the Elite Series next year?
I think I'm just looking forward to being a part of it, you know? I mean, the cool thing is so many of those guys I grew up around that I really just want to be in that atmosphere and be around the guys that I grew up with. I mean, my mom was talking about this the other night. She was talking about how when I was a kid, I used to crawl up in Greg Hackney. Greg Hackney and my dad always roomed together. And I used to be in his boat, digging around, getting baits off of him, you know, when I was a little kid. And now I'm going to be going and fishing against him. Like, that's cool to me. Guys
you better not dig around in his boat now, buddy. I don't know if you know Greg, but don't go digging around in that man's boat. Okay?
Yeah. So just to be in that atmosphere with all those guys, and it'll be cool because it's a bunch of guys that I know, but I've also like always dreamed about competing against Brandon Polnick, and you know, I'm trying to think who else. Carl Jochimson's another one. There's so many guys that I idolize up there that I just want to compete against. So it's cool. Seth Feider's another one that like I just think is the coolest thing in the world. I want to compete against Seth Feider. So now I get to go do that, but not in the sense that, and I don't want that to come off as like I want to go whoop up on Seth Feider or Brandon Polnick. I just want to be there, be in that atmosphere with those guys. I want to see them in their element and get to. It's an honor to get to compete against these guys at that level. So I'm just really looking forward to being there. But if you really want to know, I'm looking forward to 10 Killer. I can't wait to go to 10 Killer.
That's what I was going to ask. Do you have one circled on the schedule yet?
I have to say, I think 10 Killer is going to be my one circle that I'm excited about. I've never been there, but I just think that it's going to set up. I've always wanted to fish a big tournament there, but they don't have very many big tournaments there in general. So that's one of those really unique ones that it'll be cool to be your first season on tour and get to go to 10 Killer. So
when is that? June?
I think so. I think it's really something.
Yeah, my buddy Ryan from Turnpike Troubadours, actually, he has a house there on the lower end. I never got to fish it until the week before the Classic this year. I went and stayed with him 2 or 3 days. Man, that is a beautiful, beautiful lake. It's a cool lake too. Reminded me of Beaver a little bit. Kind of Beaver Lake a little bit, a little Smith Lake in Alabama, kinda in places, a little bit like that. And then throw in maybe Grand a little bit. Kind of reminded me of that too. It was cool. Really cool lake. Beautiful lake.
It is. And then there's some other ones that I'm excited about. St. John's, I think that'll be a cool one. I've never been there. But I think St. John's will be a really fun tournament in Palatka. And, you know, we get to go to Okeechobee again. Obviously, I like Okeechobee, but excited about it. But, you know, different scene when we're there this time.
What is the deal with you Brownings in Okeechobee too, though, man? Old Pops likes it down there too.
I know, and the weird thing is he gets the chatterbait game there. I don't get it. I don't get the chatterbait game there. That's one of the few places I can say I don't understand it. And I just glued a wacky rig in my hand the whole time. Y'all saw it on live. I glued a wacky rig in my hand the whole time and just lived and died with it. So I don't know. It's a cool place. I really like a place that I can pick an area and hunker down on. And I feel like we're going to get to see that a lot this season on the Elites. I really think they're going to set up a few of them are going to set up that way.
Is there anybody on the elites you want to walk up and just let's start some beef right now, Beau? Come on, we gotta get you a bad boy image. Is there anybody you want to slap the crap out of like Gerald Swindle? Just walk up, just slap a straight, just taste out of his mouth, anything like that?
No, I'm not at
Come
all.
on, Beau.
You're not dragging me down that hole.
I mean, it's just Gerald Swindle. Nobody likes him anyways.
I will say this. Trey Swindle's got his bow-legged legs from his.
He's skinnier than G's, but he's bow-legged too. Bow-legged Swindle, son.
I can look out over a crowd of guys about to take off for an open, and you can see him out there in 2 seconds. He got them bow legs,
and he's got the flow
all the time. Yeah,
always got the flow hanging out. Hey, Trey has indeed. I saw him in the comments a little earlier say he's catching heat tonight. He has caught a lot of strays tonight, and just every time I glance at the chat, it's just somebody else getting on Trey's ass. And I don't mean to do that. And that's what for years I think people thought that Gerald and I at times they took it serious, thinking we had like real beef with each other at times, just giving each other a hard time. Listen, he's like my brother. Trey's like my little brother, nephew, whatever you want to call him. I love Trey and Gerald Swindle. I do have to give Trey a hard time because I can. Because trust me, what y'all don't see is how hard of a time he gives me in life all the time. This man, and the Vanderbilt Bama game, Arkansas Tennessee game weekend, I made the mistake. I made the fatal error of calling him after the Vandy game, going, well, I'm just gonna check on you. How you doing, little buddy? You doing okay? I called him. I called Darian. Just running my mouth. My son Hudson said, Dad, stop. Hang up. Don't do that. We still got to play. I'm like, nah, we're good. We're gonna beat the heck out of them Razorbacks. Ain't gonna matter. Well, buddy, he tried calling me at the end of the game, and he'll tell you right now if he's still in the comments, I steady ignored it. I wasn't about to listen to him. I was so mad because I take that crap more serious than I ever should. I didn't even talk to him. And then the same thing happened Saturday night. He's running that mouth during the game, and I called him before overtime to let him get out of his damn system against us in Florida. So there's a good time going around all the time with the Swindle. So, yeah, just slap the crap out of G, though. I think, listen, man, they say when you go to prison, if you go to prison, the first day you just got to walk up and slap the crap out of the biggest guy in the yard, established dominant. Go up to Gerald and slap him. I think Steven would support that.
Maybe.
Go back to the old Sitco days. Like, wear your dad's Sitco jersey or whatever. Or what was the Bass Garage?
The Bass Garage. The one.
Bass Garage, yeah.
Mechanic outfit.
Yeah. Get one of those from Steven. Wear that and slap the crap out of Gerald day one. That's what you should do. So Jamie Sizemore coming in, he says there's no way to get a bad boy image on a Browning. I don't know, dude. Beau he might can do it if he slaps the crap out of Gerald first day.
And I won't. I promise you I won't. I'm not gonna. That's the whole deal. And I think a lot of this, I really will say this. I think the rookie class coming in, and I feel like I'm a good judge of character. I feel like we have a very good group of guys coming in. I don't see it turn into one of those things where nobody likes this rookie class. I know there was some stuff last year. I'm not going to comment on that. There were some people that made some mistakes.
Yeah, that's right.
I think this rookie class coming in, and I'm trying to figure out how to word this without making it sound bad. There were some guys that I did not know in this rookie class. I got to know these guys finally. Really, really good group of hammers. Really good guys. So I think this rookie class is going to come in and sit really well with the elites. I really truly think that.
And I think that the rookie class last year, a lot of that was self-inflicted, right? Self-induced, I think some of it I've talked about on here was a broad stroke accusation about all of them. And we saw that kind of bubble out, and guys, all right, hey, taking up for themselves, like, hey, don't lump me in with such and such and so and so. But you're right. And you've got some guys that aren't really rookies either. You got a Cody Meyer. Yeah, not really a rookie. Trust me, I can show you how many checks I've donated to him, big guy. And Dakota Eber. I got me 1 year a dose of that little Dakota, and I'm like, no, I'm good with all that.
And we've got some already established people. And then you've got guys coming in that everybody knows about already, too. I mean, most of the guys, I think other than I'm gonna say, and this is not throwing shade, other than I'm gonna say Evan Kung and
Yeah, I
maybe
don't know Evan.
Loberg.
No, Loberg's a dog, dude. Now,
Okay, he is.
oh yeah, Loberg's won an FLW tour or
Okay.
MLF Invitational. Yeah, yeah. So Loberg, yeah, don't Google that man. No,
Okay, so he is.
no, he's him as you kids say. No, Loberg's trouble. Loberg's trouble. And now
You can
Loberg
tell
moved to
talking.
Alabama. Yeah, Loberg's trouble.
You can tell,
Yeah, you boys will get you a dose of Loberg next year a few times. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Kung's I talk once I got to talking to him a little bit. You can tell he's a
Yeah.
bass head.
Ain't
But
no
I think
doubt.
that the only reason I said that about Kung is like people I don't feel like have heard about his name yet.
Yeah. This is
But
the
all
first,
the rest of them are established
and
or
he's
known.
Canadian too, right? Evan's a Canadian, yeah. So I just don't have the experience keeping up with him. But so Loberg, I got to know a couple years ago. Success on the FLW. He's had success MLFLW over the invitationals, and then success in Toyotas. This year, Alabama Bass Trail 100s. He's like, oh, I'm a Bama resident. He won our first 100 down at Logan Martin, the Snow Bowl.
Oh, I didn't know about this.
Oh yeah. He opened the season. Yeah. Loberg ain't playing, dude. Yeah. Yeah. He's got. He's a young dude. He's like all y'all. He's a young man, but now he's got some experience under his belt. There ain't no doubt about that. And I think he's dude. What I love about Andrew, he's that California calm though, like just cooler than the other side of the pillow. You won't rattle him. Yeah, he's trouble, dude. He's trouble.
Well,
I can't wait to do one of these with him. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks. We haven't done one in a while.
He's a cool cat. I do have one piece of bad news for your Alabama Bass Trails. Easton Fothergill is now moving to Alabama.
Well, he can only fish the 100s, but damn,
he's coming. I don't know what. Just
moving to Bama, okay.
Alabama, because Easton Fothergill's moving to Alabama, and I'm pretty sure he said, quote the other day, I can't wait to fish every little local trail in Alabama to get in. So I was like,
well, he's out of the Alabama Bass Trail north and south because pros aren't allowed, but he can fish the 100s because pros aren't allowed.
He'll probably be there.
Dude, listen, that boy's trouble. Where is he going to move to? Is he going to move back around Montevallo, or is he going to move? Okay.
He moved Nick Dumke, his college fishing partner, and Al Culpepper, who is just a well-known college guy. Well, heck, he's done a lot out of college too. He works at Mark's Outdoors now down there.
Yeah. Okay, so back to Bama, the Minnesota boy taking up residence down here.
I was surprised, but it sounds like he's going to really live in the Northland during summer and then come back to Alabama.
That's smart. Get away from those fish that get beat up on every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday night. Go up north. No doubt about it. Well, Beau, tell us your social media handles. Everybody can follow y'all. Make sure it's important to support these guys on their journey. If you keep up with the sport at all, get his followers up. I know you're doing, I see on Instagrams is the thing I pay the most attention to because I'm an old man. I probably shouldn't. I should be on the TikToks, but I don't do that very much. But tell everybody where they can find you on social and keep up from now on with Beau Browning.
All I do anymore is Facebook and Instagram. I do Instagram mainly, and now I'm starting to get into the Facebook gig. I was kind of late to that party, but Facebook and Instagram, Beau Browning Fishing. I try to stay in touch, and I try to stay engaged with my followers. So if you guys follow me, don't be afraid to shoot a comment or shoot a DM or something if you got a question about anything. Like, I try to stay as on top and in communication with my people as possible, because if y'all support me, it's the least that I can do to respond to something about an Evo or something like that. So Beau Browning Fishing on Facebook and Instagram. And now if you send me something on Instagram or Facebook, I probably don't know how to get on there to it, but Instagram, you can probably get in touch with me if you needed me. But Facebook and Instagram, Beau Browning Fishing.
Is that where they get the free Evos?
No, that's not the free. In fact, they're on jackhammer prices on there.
Yeah, if y'all want some free chatterbaits, reach out to Trey Swindle. He'll get you Beau's number. He'll get you in touch.
Yeah. Trey probably posted that. I don't know, somewhere out there.
1-800-EVO. Beau Browning, BEAU Browning Fishing, not BO, BEAU Browning Fishing. Y'all go look him up. Beau, I appreciate you, man. Tell the folks I said hello, dude.
Will do. Thank you so much for having me tonight, and look forward to next time.
Hey, we'll do it again. You're gonna be winning one of those sooner than later, so we'll get to do it again soon, buddy.
Hopefully so. Y'all have a good night. Thanks for having me again.
Absolutely. Thanks, Beau Browning, everybody right there. He is born to be a bass pro. There's no doubt about that. So thank y'all for tuning in tonight and every Low Budget Live. I appreciate y'all hanging with me and being patient. I like these lives, man. I got out of the habit of it. I've talked about that some this year, but I got out of the habit of it. I'm trying to get back in the habit of doing at least a couple a month as we move forward, getting closer to 2025, and going to make some changes to the show a little bit. Try to change some things up, make some things better, in my opinion, going into next year. But definitely want to do more and more lives. That's how the show started, and I love the comments. I'm sorry if we can't get to all of them. It's kind of tricky, especially with my ADD, and to try to carry on a conversation with somebody like Beau Browning. But thanks again to Beau. Congrats to every elite qualifier. That is not easy to do. So hell of a class. My buddy Cody Meyer in that, buddy Dakota Ebear, Andrew Loberg, absolutely running through those opens and making it look easy. All right, go take you out with some Biloxi Blues. I'll see y'all next week with another show. Thank y'all so much. See you. Y'all give Trey some more crap. See you.
Any direction, Lord, I'll be fine. It don't matter east or west, north, south, wherever.